What is up, guys? So today we are going to be talking about what is probably the two best noise canceling headphones out on the market right now. And of course, I'm talking about the Sony WH1000XM4s and the Bose Noise Cancelling Headphones 700. Now, those names, in my opinion, are terrible and they're so hard to say. They're big mouthfuls, but they are undeniably very good. And this is going to be a really hard comparison because, one, they are both very good and they offer a lot of the same features. Basically, a premium sound, very good comfort, and a lot of different smart features like touch controls and a lot of stuff like that. So it's going to be a tough comparison, and it's especially tough if you're trying to look between these two, trying to decide which one to get. So today I'm going to be comparing them, and hopefully at the end of this video you're going to have a better idea about which one might be a better fit for you. So we're going to start this off by talking about the design. And of course, design is a very subjective thing, so if you disagree with me, that's totally okay. So with the Bose, I have it in a monotone silver and gray color. And with the Sonys, I have it in a monotone tan color with some gold hits around it. And they actually have a lot of the same design language in that they're both very sleek and minimal. But I think if I had to choose between the two, I would go with the Bose 700s. And that's just because I think they're a little bit sleeker and a little bit less chunky all around. I mean, don't get me wrong, I feel like the Sonys still look very good. I really like the sleek and minimal design that it has, but I just don't like how clunky it is. It's very thick all around, and especially when you're wearing them, they just kind of take up a lot of space around your head. And of course, the difference probably isn't really that much, but when I'm wearing them, I just kind of feel like the Sonys are a little bit chunkier, and that's just not really my preference. Also on the Bose, I really like the finish that they put on the ear cups, because the way that the light reflects on them kind of highlights all the subtle little curves around it, and I think it just looks really good. They also both come with some eggshell type hard carrying cases, and they're both really nice and do the job with protecting the headphones. But I think if I had to choose between the two, I would still go with the Bose 700s, even though the Sonys are actually smaller because the Sonys can fold and the Boses can't. But it's because the Sonys have a cloth covering on the outside, which I'm just a little bit worried about staining over time because sometimes accidents happen that you can't really control. And the second reason I would choose the Bose carrying case over the Sonys is just I think it looks a lot cleaner on the inside. With the Sonys, you get this kind of weird wall type thing, and it just feels really flimsy and just doesn't look very good. It really feels like it was a big afterthought in making the case. With the Bose case, everything is just molded perfectly to fit the headphones, and it even has this little cubby thing that is really well hidden to hide all the cables that come with it. And like I said earlier, the Sony's case is a bit smaller than the Bose's, but the difference is pretty minimal, and I didn't really find it to be a big difference when I was carrying it in a bag or anywhere else that I would actually need to take the headphones. So for me, the winner is still the Bose 700s, but if you really want something that's compact and isn't going to take a lot of space, and that's a very big priority for you, you're definitely going to want to go with the Sonys. So comfort wise, I think Bose still wins here, but that isn't to say that the Sonys aren't comfortable. I just think that the Bose are a little bit better. They both have really nice leather at ear cups that feel really nice on the skin and just are really comfortable overall. But the issue with the Sonys was that the drivers touch my ears while I'm wearing them. And that's a pretty big deal to me because when I'm wearing headphones, that's usually the first thing that starts to hurt. And with the Bose, the drivers are angled in a way that they actually don't touch my ears at all, meaning that I can almost wear these indefinitely. But with the Sonys, I usually have to take a break after an hour or two just to let my ears rest a little bit. But I will say that both of these headphones do get pretty hot though. They're not breathable at all, and I wouldn't recommend you work out in these or anything like that. Again though, the Sonys aren't uncomfortable. I just like the Boses a little bit better because of what I just said with the drivers. But one thing that the Sonys do have going for them though is that they're actually a little bit lighter. And I don't know how big of a difference it is, but it's like you can definitely feel it while you're holding them. And one little note about the fit that I have to commend Bose on is actually that they're easier to put on. Like usually when you put them in the case, you actually have to slide the ear cups to the smallest position or else they won't fit in the case. So then, like me, if I have a big head, so I always have to move the ear cups back out to make them fit. And with the Bose, it's actually really easy to make that adjustment because you can hold the ear cups while you're adjusting the headband at the same time. So usually I grip it like this. I just kind of push with my thumbs, and that way I can actually put them on. But with the Sonys, like I said, you have to always push them in or else they won't fit inside the case. And there's actually no way to hold on to the ear cups and adjust the length at the same time. You actually have to take one hand off and adjust the length that way, which it's just another motion when you're actually trying to put them on, and it's a little annoying if you're trying to do it in a hurry. So you might be thinking that Bose is clearly winning this comparison, and why am I even making this video if it's so slanted? But one thing that the Sonys clearly pull ahead of the Bose in is battery life. So with the Sonys, you get 30 hours of playtime total with a quick charge feature that gives you 5 hours of playtime with just a 10-minute charge. With the Bose, you get 21 hours of playback with a quick charge feature for 3.5 hours of playback with a 15-minute charge. So Sony clearly wins this here. I mean, that's an objective thing. There's no comparison to be made. Connectivity wise, I would say it's pretty much a draw. Both of them use Bluetooth, both of them have an aux connection, both of them have USB-C, and both of them have multi-point connection, which is basically you can connect 2 devices to the headphone at one time, which is really convenient if you're like watching a video on your iPad and then you suddenly get a call on your phone or something. You don't have to go through the reconnection process and perhaps risk missing the call. But I guess if I had to nitpick here, I would say that Sony does have a slight edge here because the aux connection on the Sony is a standard 3.5 to 3.5, while on the Bose it's a 2.5 to 3.5, which are a little bit harder to find. Features wise, I would say that Sony clearly has the edge here. So they both have touch controls on the ear cups, which allows you to touch the ear cups to play, pause, skip, reverse, volume up and down, all the essentials. And I would say with that feature in particular, I would actually go with the Bose. And that's for a kind of lazy reason. And it's because with the Bose, the touchpad is actually only half of the ear cup, so you don't actually have to move your finger quite as far to have the action register. With the Sonys, the entire ear cup is the touchpad, so you have to kind of move your finger double the distance. And I know it sounds like stupid and definitely a first world problem, but I would say if I was comparing them side by side, I actually prefer the Bose. So with both of these headphones, you get access to an app, but the Sony's is just much more robust and just allows you to control a lot more stuff. So for example, with the noise canceling, Sony allows you with 20 levels of customization, while the Bose only allows you 11. The Sonys also offer a ton of smart features that I can't really get into this video because there's just way too many, and if you're interested in them, you should go watch my full review of the Sonys. But basically, they offer a ton of smart features like being able to track what you're doing, being able to just put a hand over to give quick attention, and just like a ton of stuff. And it's actually really impressive what they've been able to do. Now, are all of those features useful? I don't know, but I'm really glad that they do have them, because if you don't use them, you don't use them. But if you do want to play around with it, you have that option. With the Bose, you just don't really get those. Now, one feature that really does matter is going to be the noise cancellation. After all, it's one of the headlining features for both of these headphones. And I gotta say that it's pretty much a draw. Like, I really have a hard time distinguishing between which one is better than the other, and I really couldn't tell you. Like, if you held a gun to my head and told me to tell you which one was better, I don't know if I could do it. And that's not really a bad thing. That's just to say that both of these are extremely good, and you're going to be really satisfied either way. And you really shouldn't choose one of these over the other just for the noise cancellation performance. But one thing that I can tell a difference between the two is sound quality. And that's really important. After all, that is the main function of a pair of headphones, is to produce sound. And I gotta say that the Sony clearly win in this department. But that isn't to say that the Boses sound bad, it's just that the Sonys sound really good. Both of them keep the sound controlled very well, even at higher volumes. and the mids and highs are both crystal clear on both of these headphones. But I think the thing that really sets the Sonys apart from the Bose is going to be the bass performance. Like with the Bose, you do get that thumping bass and you do get that really low sub bass, but with the Sonys, it's just kind of on another level. Like you really get that head rattling, you can almost feel it in your chest type of bass. And it just sounds incredible for rap songs and anything with a lot of bass like EDM or anything like that. So I would definitely say if your main concern is sound quality, the Sonys are going to do a better job for you. So at the end of the day, which one of these would I choose? They're both very good headphones with a lot of stuff going for them. But I gotta say, personally, for my use case, I would still have to go with the Bose 700s. And my decision to go with the Bose over the Sony is basically for one reason, and that's comfort. Like my philosophy on headphones is that it doesn't really matter how good they sound or what features they have if it physically hurts you to wear them. And with the Bose, like I said earlier, they're extremely comfortable. And I really love how the drivers are angled in a way that they don't touch my ears. And I can almost wear these indefinitely, but that's just for my use case. And I would still say that for most people out there, I would go with the Sonys. And I'd say that they're definitely the smarter choice for the vast majority of people out there. Like they sound better, they have better features, better battery life, and a smaller case. So it's really up to you. And I would say that for most people, like I said, go with the Sonys, but if comfort is king, then go with the Bose. Anyways, that's all for this one. Remember to hit that like button, and if you enjoy content like this, think about subscribing and hitting the bell so you don't miss anything. And in the comments below, let me know if you had to choose between these two headphones, which one would you go with? Like I said earlier, my choice is the Bose 700s for the comfort, but your situation is different than mine, so you might have a different choice, and I'm really curious to hear it. So leave a comment below, I'd love to hear your thoughts. As always, thank you so much for watching, and I'll catch you guys in the next one. Peace!